What's going on, guys? Matt Schaeffer back here with a special one. This one was a big old project. This is a '69 Chevy Nova. The car came to us halfway built. So the exterior, as you see it, the paint, the wheels, the engine, which I'll show you here in a second, was already done. A lot of the interior was done. This car was built, I want to say like 10-12 years ago or so. We rehauled the interior for Elite Resto Mods, a company that restores obviously older classic cars and brings them to this unbelievable show quality. So let's go ahead and check it out. First, I'll show you what's underneath the hood. As you can see, it's fully built up. As far as I know, it's a Pontiac G8 engine. Everything finished off, again, completely show quality. Everything is painted, everything is finished off. The whole underside of it here is completely fiberglass and painted, so everything that you see is completely done and finished off. This is the completed trunk. I can overlay right now a picture of what it looked like before. This is what it looked like when it came in, and we wanted to do something that speaks to the overall finish of the rest of the car a little bit better. Again, this was built a while ago, so it's a little bit outdated, and we're just bringing it up to date with modern technology, modern fabrication techniques, materials, again, to make the inside represent the outside and the engine. So what I did is I stripped all this stuff out. I'll overlay some pictures here of what it looks like behind all these panels. So this is the behind the scenes of the Nova trunk. This is the new floor that I built. Everything was sound treated with Sound Shield and Hush Mat beneath this, and then I had to make a new floor that was level that I could mount all the equipment to. I can overlay some pictures here to show the bracing of how this floor was made, but we still left access to like the fuel pump. It's labeled there, so you can pull that off, pull those bolts out to service the fuel pump if you had to. But we have our two Focal Utopia M10s. You can see them right through there if you can see them. Still plenty of room for excursion, about 2.5 inches till it hits that bar, and we're holding that bar up right here just so it doesn't shatter. Our custom terminal cup right here, you have a massive 90 amp intelligent charger for our battery right here. This thing's a brute 6,000 amps output peak, and we have all of our fusing here. We have fusing over there. We rewired everything in the car. There's our DSP. This stuff will be accessible through the panels that we're going to create. Of course, you got your 4 Mosconi Pro amplifiers right here. So back to this charger. If there is a cover on the car, we have a plug right here underneath the car, as you can see right there, that will engage the charger and trickle charge, or completely be a power supply. If you're doing a demo on the car, you can plug in the car from underneath, and this will give you up to 90 amps of current to the battery and the audio system, so you can rock this thing at a car show. And we have our intelligent power supply from Power XS controller right there. So basically, once that's plugged in, that thing will tell you the voltage, it'll tell you if it's charging, the amperage of charge, and all that kind of stuff. We have 3 Mosconi Pro amplifiers. We basically have a 410 that runs the mid-range and tweeter up front. We have a 210 that runs the front mid-bass. Then we have 2 Mosconi Pro 110s that power each 10-inch subwoofer. Everything is lit up in that amp rack there. Of course, we have it branded with our Elite Resto Mods, and this is what I would consider a signature series type build. Obviously, every budget is different for everyone. This is more or less an extreme version of integrating in high-end audio, high-end electronics, modern electronics, while keeping a very organic and detailed look. Because again, a lot of classic cars, all these back panels here could have just been straight down a box like it was before practically. Maybe a little nicer with a little bit more trim. This is, it's kind of tough to see, but it is very detailed. So it's 3-dimensional. There is a body line that runs here as you can see right here. Body line runs here through this panel and then throughout that panel. So these are not flat panels, they are three-dimensional. As you can kind of see, they all flow in together with each other. We have, again, our Elite Resto Mod logo up here in this aluminum. This is a pass-through up here. So this is a grill material that we made out of acrylic, backed with grill cloth for the air from the subwoofers to move through here. On the other side, in the back of the seats, we did another pass-through to let all of that air that is kind of congested behind these panels to move freely out, to reduce the chance of resonance as you're listening to the subwoofers. We have just a beauty panel here with the Chevrolet logo, again finished off in hand routed aluminum. So we cut all this aluminum out of a solid block, routed it, polished it up. So this was the material that they used when they redid the interior the first time, so we carried that through to here. Finish it off with a complimentary Alcantara suede. This cream color really matched the gauges, so we started to carry this Alcantara cream color throughout the rest of the car to complement a third material, so it just wasn't carpet and vinyl. We had to add that, at least that third material in as well with the aluminum trim as well. Looking closer at the amp rack, again we have our amps hidden. They can still air can still move from the amplifiers. It's all ventilated here. So we have stacked acrylic, we have lit acrylic, we have more stacked acrylic, and then we have our aluminum trim here. So over here, one of my biggest pet peeves as well with a lot of older cars is the electrical system, right? So cars like this, we just have to rewire from the get-go, tear everything out, redo everything, because again, a lot of people who build cars, they're not electronic people, right? So anytime you see these cars, they're generally a disaster. Now this car, a lot of the interior electronics really weren't even wired up. They were just wired up for show, which I understand. This is a show car. It really wasn't meant to be driven, but we went ahead and wired up a lot of that stuff and made sure the wiring was legit, also fused. So you can push this panel here. It basically rotates on magnets. And now you have your fuses right there behind the panel. This is a lot of the electronics that we have installed. So the fuses are very easy to access. And then we have our DSP, which resides behind this. So our Helix DSP Ultra, which controls the brains of the audio system, that is there behind this panel. You can still get to what you need to, and you can get to the tuning port. So the USB is right there. That is for the DSP Ultra if you want to get in there to that DSP to make any adjustments. This has magnets embedded in it, and again, this just sucks up in place. So fuses, very easy to access. The system fuses are behind this panel, which this top can come off. There's a bunch of quarter 20s that come off, and then you can get to the system fusing back here, which then gives you, once this is out, the ability to pull out the side cover, and then the excess power battery is there, along with more system fuses, main fuses behind that panel. So everything, as you see, is very easy to get to. You still have quite a bit of space, and again, you have a lot more detail, contour than you had prior to us having this car. So this is what myself at Musaic Design, and of course Elite Resto Mods, try to do when it comes to a lot of these classic cars, is we try and go beyond what is expected. I think for most classic car enthusiasts, when they get interiors built where it's a lot of flat panels, it's just very generic, basic, where the exterior of the car is awesome, the engine's awesome, the rest of it's finished off to the nth degree, whereas the interior a lot of times and the electronics are lacking heavily. So now we'll go ahead and show you the inside. This interior looked exactly like this, minus the console. I can overlay a picture here of what the console looked like when we got the car. It was just old, outdated, kind of falling apart. So we knew that the console was something that we would end up rebuilding to incorporate some of the electronics and modern amenities that we're adding to the car. These seats were already there, the back seats were already there, these door panels were already there. So we're trying to make a lot of this look a lot more interesting and modern. So I'll show you the Sony radio right now, and then I'll turn the car off since it is running and it's loud. I don't have it hooked up to a power supply because I'm sitting out in the middle of a field. But I'll show you the radio real quick. We have the Sony 10-inch 9500 radio, and this thing is flushed in. So it has wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all your current amenities. It's a badass looking radio. It is very glare proof, so you can look at it really from every angle, and it's always easy to be seen. So we like using this a lot of the times when it comes to some of these classic cars, when we can, you know, make it look factory and build it in. So I'll go ahead and turn off the car, that way we can talk without the engine running. So of course all of this was completely custom built. I can overlay some of the build photos here of what it looks like without the vinyl. We had to build it in a way in which we could wrap the console in one piece and add these other accents like our Alcantara, like our carpet. Starting with the electronics that we added, we have a push to start button. So this is the new ignition system for the Nova here, and it's made by Tech, so vasetech.com, and this is called their SEER unit, S-E-E-R. And this push to start is going to react just like a modern car. You're going to install different antennas around the car, and you're going to have key fobs hooked up to your key ring, and the car is going to detect the RF key fob, much like your push to start, or much like your key fob in your modern car. And when you come in here, you can obviously hit the button there. As you can see, I just turned on accessory, hit it again, turns on ignition, hit it one more time, turns it off. Now, if I were to hit the brake, that would illuminate green, and if this is in park, the car will start the next time I hit the button. So it reacts just like a modern vehicle with push to start. Awesome unit. Also can do passive lock and unlock as you walk up and away from the vehicle. So very cool. Of course, if you're a classic car guy, you already understand vintage air. And then we have our window switches, so that makes them go up and down. This is wired in. This is a modern GM switch that we wire in to make everything look date appropriate with our resto mod. And then of course, this is our main controller for our audio. This is the Helix conductor. This works with the DSP. This controls our volume of our Sony. So we can just leave our Sony at a certain volume, and then this becomes the main volume knob, and it'll glow with the LED showing you where your volume is. Hit it again, that's now your sub volume control. Hit it one more time, and that sets your presets. So much like most of the cars we do, if you've seen our other modern car videos, preset 1 is going to be our Sony radio in this case. Preset 2 is going to be a Bluetooth adapter that goes directly to the DSP, and preset number 3 is going to be our analog input from our Astel and Kern high-res player. And the reason we like to use these players is it really is utilizing the full bandwidth of what the speakers that we're installing can do, right? So obviously a certain tier speaker, you want to get every ounce of the ability of what that speaker can do. And the way that I describe it to a lot of people is when you have something playing from a player like this versus your phone, the difference is, say, you know, watching 4K on your 4K TV versus 1080p on your TV versus 480p on your TV. So that really is the differences as you're going up. The signal source is getting better. This has much better DACs built in, allowing you to have much better separation, width, depth, tonality. All that kind of stuff is really brought to life while using this versus, you know, running something through your phone in the Sony, which, you know, your phone isn't realistically meant to play high fidelity music. It doesn't have high-end DACs in it. It's built for more of a broad spectrum of people listening to compressed media, which, you know, if you're trying to get everything out of what you install, that does make a pretty big difference. Again, we built all this. Obviously the shift boot here, this thing's completely magnetic, so I can pop that up. You can see everything underneath of it. You see all the embedded magnets there. So same with this panel down here. That panel is magnetic. So you can easily access a lot of this stuff by just removing it with pull force. As you can see, it just pulled back down. But yeah, you can see all the aluminum trim that we did to really complement it. This back color here is paint matched to the vehicle. So that brings the exterior color into the inside of the vehicle, which looks really, really good, makes it pop. And then of course, we have a modern switch. I just ordered this off Amazon. It's to a Volkswagen. This is more of your type of headlight plug. And again, most people with classic cars are used to the pull plug, and that is what it is. But now this lights up. It even has auto lights. It has parking light, headlight, auto light, and it reacts and lights up just like a modern switch that would be found in a new car. Now, talking about the speakers, you can see them there in the pillar. We basically have a 3.5-inch mid-range and the tweeter. These are the Focal Utopia M speakers. So this is your high-end line of speakers. Again, the pillar, all custom made, molded there. So that design line is all incorporated by us. It was all molded from scratch. And again, the aluminum ring, the press grill, all of that stuff is completely handmade. Here's some pictures kind of that build process. Another thing that I wanted to do, especially how the doors are made, you see how the doors open and it just completes that body line there? I did the same thing with the mid-range and tweeter. So if you look at the mid-range, there's that little gap there, and of course the tweeter sticks out. So once the door is shut, it completely gives you a nice body line, much like it does when the doors open with the side. Always kind of wanted to do something like that, but I think it looks really good in this case, and it just, to me, it just looks really awesome. Now, as for the mid-bass driver, so we have a front of 3 ways here. Of course, you just saw the mid-range and tweeter. This is our 6-inch Utopia M mid-bass woofer. It is behind this custom aluminum trim. And again, we made the whole kick panel design. Of course, we have our Elite Resto Mod badge there in the bottom right. And we have our pops of suede aluminum. This is a one-piece kick panel, and much like the back, we had talked about the fuses and the serviceability and functionality of that. So basically, this pulls out. We have our magnets, much like we did on the back. Those are your 3 magnets there. We have magnets behind the vinyl here. And of course, we have our brain for the sear unit. We have our lighting module. And then of course, we have another fuse panel with the interior fuses. So if there is an issue, you can easily get to the fuses. Everything is safe. If there's a fuse popped, it'll light up the lights there, letting you know which fuse is blown. So again, serviceability is very easy. This is what you would expect with a modern car. And if you're building an old car, or you're doing a resto mod, this is how it should be done. It shouldn't be the spider web of wires with a bunch of T-taps, butt connectors, crimp caps, you know, all that stuff together, creating one nightmare where if something goes wrong, you just run a new wire and keep everything else in there. This is what my expectation of a classic car should look like. And this just goes back into place. You heard it just suck into place because it's magnetic, and you're good to go. Again, the console goes all the way back here. It's kind of hard because the sun's shining in, but you have this back panel, you have your cup holder, you have this back panel with some body lines in it, and then of course you have the rear pass-through. So like I told you with the back, we built a pass-through to allow the air to go through the panels. We don't want the air trapped back there because it's just going to create resonance and make the subwoofer sound bad. We refabricated everything, created that pass-through. Again, built the aluminum, did the press grills, did the grill cloth, and finished it off with the Elite Resto Mod badge there. So this allows the air from the subwoofer to move from the back into the front. So I do know once it leaves here, he is building new front seats for it, which is going to be a good thing. It's kind of the drawback, I think, of the interior as you see it now. The headrests are a little funky, but yeah, I think he's going to build some new seats in here, which is going to be comfortable. He's going to push it back a little bit, which is going to make sitting in here and enjoying the audio system a lot much more tolerable and fun. The seats, obviously, they're just kind of built for show. They're wood, not really any padding to them, kind of uncomfortable. But like I said, this car wasn't really built to drive. I'm assuming it was built for show. So it did a lot of the show circuit back in the day. I believe it's spent some time in the McGuire's booth, but yeah, it's pretty much the full spectrum of what we did here. Fully rewired the electronics, making everything safe. Obviously pulled out all the old wiring and really made a harness for the whole car. Everything fused and nice, and built the console, built the trunk, built the A-pillars, installed the audio system, did the pass-throughs. But yeah, you can see some of the other vehicles we've done. I'm doing a Firebird now. Did a C3 Vet where we did kind of the same thing and really transformed the car to a more modern status. And again, this is what Elite Resto Mods of Michigan does. They'll purchase or rebuild old cars, modernize them to a unbelievable fit and finish, and then their vehicles will be up for sale. So give them a look. I can tag their information right here below as far as their website and their contact info. But again, we did this interior build for them on this specific vehicle. So again, thank all of you guys for always watching the videos, giving the support, giving the feedback. Obviously, I can't do any of these cars without you guys, because almost 100% of what I do is all through, you know, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, social media, period. Clients just like you watching this, send your car to me and let me be able to do my thing and have my creative freedom and knowledge to give you a awesome sounding car or a good looking interior or a combination of the two. So if you want to contact me personally, here's my information. Here's my phone number followed by my email address. These are the two best points of contact for me. Of course, you can follow me on TikTok. Here's my handle here below. Obviously Instagram, here's our three handles. You got Musaic Design, you got @TheRealMattyS, that's the one where I'm most active. That's my personal Instagram. And then you have Sound Effects Automotive. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you subscribe, hit the alert bell, that way you're notified anytime we drop a new video. And also check out our website. Our website, musaicdesign.com, is the best tool for you guys, especially if you have modern cars, to really see what we've done in a modern car. The beautiful thing about the fabrication skills is we can use this to our advantage when it comes to newer cars. So if you have a new BMW and you actually have a reference for audio and the factory system isn't cutting it, we can add a really awesome reference audiophile system in while keeping everything looking 100% factory. That's kind of the bones of what we do as a company. We do really high-end audio systems and make it look OEM while giving it serviceability and functionality, while retaining serviceability and functionality. So check out our website. You can see all the catalog of cars that we've done in a very easy to see place, attached along with any YouTube video that we have done on that specific vehicle. So give that a look. And then if you are an audiophile or into audio at some point in your life and don't know about our podcast, it's called the Old Fashioned Car Audio Podcast. This is basically a tool that we did to set up to educate newer clients who dabbled in the industry a long time ago and want to get back into it. And obviously a lot of time and years have gone by. A lot of things have changed. Audio can get really, really good in a car. And this is going to give you the education background to make good choices when it comes to understanding what makes audio good in a car and what type of equipment to choose. That way you are fully educated on that. So give that a look. It's streaming on Spotify or anywhere you get podcasts. And like always, guys, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the follow. I appreciate the support. And until next time.